you got to acknowledge that you're on your own road because only you know the vision that's in your head. You have to stay true to yourself. I always say it's silencing the noise because you're going to have people yapping at you all day long and you just have to keep on going your path and don't let anybody detour you from what your path is meant to be.
Sandy York, welcome to Produce Your Passion.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you again for having me on your show, the Power of Connection podcast. It's almost a long time no see, right?
I know. I mean, wow, episode 34. We're currently in the midst of promoting it and I am just blown away by like the feedback we're receiving and just the amazing gems you shared. I mean, so many gems of things that you could apply to how to produce your passion.
Awesome. Well, and thank you for asking so many amazing questions and for giving me that platform. It's not often that I get a chance to be on the other side of the table there and get asked questions. So I really, truly appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to keep pushing that episode out.
Absolutely.
And today is all about you. So, so Sandy, for the audience that isn't as familiar with you or hearing or listening to you for the first time, who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Sandy York, and I am the host and producer of the Power of Connection podcast. This podcast was really born out of the need to connect. And during the pandemic, it's really where it came to fruition of like the idea and what it meant. So I promised myself if we ever saw the daylight, because I know during that time it was pretty dark for a lot of us, that I would pursue this journey of creating a place where local Las Vegas community members could come on and share their story, to be able to connect with other people and just take the gems that we all need sometimes, the guidance, right? Because the journey can get very lonely.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that because yes,
Yes.
it can. So, so that's awesome. So I want to tap into you talking about the beginning of this journey. So your Produce Your Passion story. Did it really start during that time of the pandemic where you just started to get, what was it about podcasting in particular that made you think I'm going to start a podcast?
So I got to take you all the way back. I don't know how long we have, but
we got time.
So I've actually been in banking for 20 years and I've done pretty much from everything, right? I've been a teller, I've been a banker, I've been in operations, I've been in sales. And it goes back from my banker days when I was a personal banker. I would have business clients come in and set up their accounts. And part of the process of onboarding a client was setting up their profile and understanding how they did banking. So when that occurred, I would learn about why they want to start this business, right? Where did that idea initially begin? And then their journey through it, like what phase of their business building were they in? Were they in the beginning building, intermediate? What kind of banking did they need? Did they need to be able to receive payments? Did they need to be able to pay their employees? So you get to learn all aspects about navigating through business, and what they need, right? So that with that, you had to learn how to not tell stories, but listen to the information that they were providing. And then also putting the picture together to be able to give them the things they needed, right? The services they needed to make their business experience better. And so they could have the tools that they needed. So that's really where I learned how to ask questions and really actively listen to what people were saying that they needed. Because sometimes we say things, but we don't really explain what we need. We may think we need one thing, but then it turns out to be something completely different.
Oh, that's very interesting. I knew you had been in banking, but I didn't know that piece of it. So you were actually prepping yourself to become a podcaster and you didn't even know it.
I had no idea.
Because you have to be able to listen, right? You have to be able to really, like you just said, take in the information and then, come up with questions, dive deeper. That's really neat. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the first time I've really answered that question because I haven't tied it back to my banker years, but that's really where it stems from. So when the pandemic happened, it was a really dark time in my life. I was currently working for a company that wasn't so great. They weren't so great at reacting to what was happening in the world and how it affected the actual humans that were doing the work for the company, right? So they weren't incorporating that human aspect of how do we navigate through this and still take care of our people. And that was a very difficult time. The management team that I had was not great. So it was a hard thing to deal with myself, especially I had two young kids at the time, and they were navigating through this new world too, where they had to go virtual and, having them go online on camera and try to interact with their peers. It was quite challenging, right? I mean, as an adult, sometimes I feel like it's challenging for us. I can't even imagine what it feels like for children to do that, right? Let alone the teachers that were navigating through that as well. So I think the whole world was just in this new experiment that was just like, what are we doing, so when I tie it back to my employer, they weren't capturing that human aspect that was affecting the mental health of the employees. And I told myself, I don't want to be a part of an organization like that. I don't want to be part of anybody that treats people like that, whether it's individuals or companies. I want to surround myself with people that are about connecting, supporting, and collaborating. So once time passed and I set out and I went down this journey of looking to like, how do I make this happen? Right. Because when you have something in your mind, you see it so clearly, but when you go to execute it, it's like now you have to connect all the moving parts of what it takes to actually make that happen. So that's where it started. And it's been a journey ever since. I mean, I've learned so much about myself, about others. And it's been a great experience.
Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And so I want to hone in because I think this is very interesting because there's so many people that probably say, "Oh, when this happens one day, I'm finally going to go shoot that movie. I'm going to go start that podcast. I'm going to go make that song." You actually did it. And I don't know if you can remember specifically, but if able, can you remember the exact moment when you, okay, now I can actually do this thing? What
I
was that? What
do.
was that like? Like what was can you because there's that moment where you actually do it. Like you actually take that besides thinking about it, we go, okay, step one, and you actually start. Can you talk about that?
Yes. And first, I have to give you your flowers because this is how I know you're a great interviewer. Yes, I do remember that first initial moment where I knew my life had now changed. So it during the time that I was thinking about the podcast, I was thinking, okay, well, because I was at two roads, right? Do I go to a studio? And when you go to a studio, there's a heavy cost associated with a studio. Or do I, get some mics and learn it step by step, but it's going to delay the output of your project, right? So it's less cost up front, but there's more delay, or you produce it and you get it out there, but you're going to have to pay the price. So one day I was scrolling through Instagram and I found this studio and they were pushing out, their promotions. They were a new studio in town. And I reached out and it was the video podcasting studio. Shout out to Trevin. And I messaged him initially and I said, because I wanted to understand the gauge of the price points, right, in the industry. So I reached out and I'm like, hey, so can this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Can you give me like a ballpark of what it would cost to produce this? And he did. And I said, Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you. I wish you the best with your business, you know. And that's exactly what I said. And he's like, no, 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 no. Come in. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, are you sure? Yes. And he's like, okay. So then I go to my husband and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go meet this stranger on the internet. And he's like, you're going to do what? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go. And then it was just a crazy, crazy moment. So I go and I meet him, and yeah, he actually had a video production background. He does. He has a media company and he produces massive commercials here in town for like large companies. But he wanted to create a studio because his clients were also having the need for podcasting. So I learned about, Trevin and his business and whatnot. And then we were able to work out a deal that worked for both of us. And thank God for his flexibility. And that was exactly the moment where we were able to launch that vision from like just being in my head to like, actually, okay, we're going to move forward and we're going to go and take the next step.
I love that. I love the detail of that because, yeah, it's one thing to just talk about it and then, but you actually found the person that could help you do this and then made the commitment. A lot of people you got to be willing to make that commitment, especially when it comes to bigger productions. It's great to find ways to do it on the cheap or yourself, but there is a huge advantage too of letting experts do what they do and you not have to touch it and you can just focus on the podcasting part or the art part of it, if you will.
Absolutely. And I think to a big point there is whether you want to do, if you're going to set out to do something that has been weighing on you, right? You're going to have to sacrifice either time or money. And you're going to have to make the decision of which one is it going to be. And just know it's a journey. It's not something that just miraculous appears out of thin air. No, it comes with a lot of work.
That's a clip right there.
That's a clip.
So perfect segue. You set me up great for the next part of this program. Is I like to ask people, look, we love producing our passion. You and I both know it's awesome. But like you just said, it comes at a price. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of obstacles along the way. In Produce Your Passion, we talk about financial obstacles, mental obstacles, emotional obstacles, whatever obstacles there may be. Can you talk about some of the obstacles you've had to encounter on your podcast journey and how did you overcome those?
Yes, the obstacles that came along with going on the journey of building the Power of Connection podcast was that every time you elevate, right before you elevate, you're going to be hit with many challenges. So at first it was very difficult because this was very new to me and I didn't see it coming. Every single time I didn't see it coming, right? But now I'm in year 2 and every time I'm hit with challenges or roadblocks, I know something good is on the other end. So it has to do with a lot of reframing of the mind. And I would really like to touch on mindset because it starts with your mindset. If you're not able to get off, if you get knocked down and it takes you 3 months to get back up, you have lost momentum. So the quicker you get up when you get knocked down, the quicker you're going to be able to move and make more progress. And that's how I see it now. So like if something goes wrong, okay, so what's the next step? Like I don't even stop to think or take time to be bummy about what happened. I just think about what's my next move. And I think that is very powerful in keeping you going, because when you focus on everything that's gone wrong instead of being proactive and focusing on what's the next step and how do we make this better, you lose that momentum.
It reminds me of the book. Have you ever read the book The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan?
No.
It's a good, add that to your list. It's a good
yes.
one.
We have a running list now.
Yeah, he talks about how, similar to what you just said, not getting down when these roadblocks come your way It's actually showing you the way you need to go. It's like a mindset reframe. So when something doesn't work out, it's not, oh man, that didn't work out. It's like, oh, okay. We know that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So this is pointing us to do this instead. So I know I align with you on that, definitely. Now, when it comes to, so you do long form podcasting, and
I do.
and none's better than the other, but there is a difference between doing a long form and then a 15-minute podcast. There's just a lot. It's two different things. So what types of obstacles have you encountered on that?
Long form.
On being able to sit down with people for an hour or more.
You know what? Being able to sit down and talk to people has never been an obstacle for me. And I think it's really because I'm really curious about the person that's sitting across from me. There's challenges when it comes to like the technical aspects, especially there was a time where I was doing everything manually myself and then sitting down and being the host. And I found that to be the most challenging because, setting up but setting up a podcast setup from like you go into a space where there's no podcast and then an hour later you have a whole studio. That was the most challenging thing because at the time I'm like, okay, I need 4 XLR cables. I need 4 mics. I need 4 stands. I need lights. I need, so having a checklist and then how it all connects together. Like, okay, I need to connect this here, this there, and like sound check, sound check, video check, and then going from that mindset and then sitting down and now I'm like, okay, now I'm the host. That for me was the biggest challenge. And that's why I go in the studio because I want to make sure that the only thing I'm thinking about is my guest, right? They are my sole priority. It's 1 hour that I get with them that I have to really dig deep and connect. And if I'm worried about, did I forget a mic stand? It takes me away from that process. And luckily I've had the opportunity to connect with great partners that I'm able to do this primarily with my spouse. He's my rock, I don't want to talk about him because I get emotional. Woo, I didn't see that one coming. He's my spouse, but he's also my business partner, and just having that level of like, okay, this is where we're at and this is what we need to be. And then like, okay, these are the people that we're going to work with to make this happen, has really elevated where I've been and where I'm going.
Oh, brilliantly said. I relate all too well. When you're one man banding it, if you will, it can be done, but it does, for me personally, it does take you, you're not as present when you're doing it. So back to your point earlier of going to professionals who only focus on the production side of things. Yeah, you're going to have to spend some money, but you're also going to free yourself up to be an even better host and more present. When you're such a terrific host. It was such a great experience coming on your podcast, meeting the people you work with, and you're very, very good at it. So that was it was great to experience that firsthand. And if you wouldn't mind us talking about, because I know we can fall in the podcast talk with this pretty quick.
All day.
Let me know about this obstacle, because I think this is a challenge in podcasting. I want to get your take. We both do long form episodes, which are great, but filming them and even putting out the first episode or the episode long form is one thing, but distributing clips, posting content everywhere to get people to go check out the long form, has that been an obstacle for you?
Yes. And let me tell you why, because the little perfectionist in me is a troll. And when you are an expert in your field and like in banking, right? I know I am the expert in my field. I know what I'm talking about. But when you go into a different industry and you have to start from scratch and learn everything, like I've learned to edit on multiple platforms. So I've learned how to edit in Premiere Pro. I'm currently learning DaVinci, CapCut, Final Cut Pro, and there's some people that only do one and they stick to it religious. But I think that when you only go on one platform, if that platform goes away or that software, you are stuck. And that's happened to me. If you remember, there was a time where I was just editing on CapCut because it's so easy, it's so fast, and we could push out. And I was editing for a client because this is another thing, but hopefully we could touch on it. I have a media company. So through the media company, I was doing work for a real estate client of mine. And we would shoot long form for her, but her for real estate videos, but for her, it was anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes. It depended on what property we were. And TikTok is banned. Along with TikTok, CapCut is banned. And now I need to edit these videos that need to go out Monday morning, and I am stuck because I didn't have the know-how how to, or like go to somewhere else and be able to do it as quickly as I did with CapCut. So I said, never again, never again. I'm going to be multifaceted with all these softwares and just not be an expert, but at least know how to navigate through the platforms. Because yeah, that's definitely a challenge. I mean, even learning how to load a video for editing and sync audio, because you have the audio that's on your camera, but then you have your mic audio, and learning how to do that. Like these little things that you're like, oh, it's so easy. We can figure it out. But when you're in the seat trying to figure it out, it is a challenge, and you have to accept that you're not the expert and just figure it out.
That's a great point that I don't think anyone's brought up yet on this podcast. And I haven't really even thought about that as much till you just said something. We become so reliant on these platforms. I think using TikTok and CapCut are a great example. I'm definitely a TikTok user. Yeah, I remember a lot of people when that TikTok got shut down for whatever it was, 24, 48 hours, whatever it was. A lot of people were like, well, what do I do now? Because some people were just TikTok. They
Right.
weren't on any other, they had gone all into TikTok. So I think that's a great reminder. As great as this technology is, we shouldn't get reliant on at least one part of it too much. That's a really good point.
Absolutely. And that's where, I mean, I think we talked about that on the episode we shot for my podcast, how you're so versatile and you're good at all the social media platforms, and you're good at distribution. I mean, distribution is amazing that it's in our hands now, right? If we go way back 20 years, 15 years ago, that was not the thing. And now we have it in our hands where we're able to distribute our projects anywhere, we want. And you do it so well because you do it on all these platforms. I think that is really cool.
Thank you. And brilliantly put, you're right. We're distributing on the same platforms as all these big companies are. They're
Yep.
all using Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So
Yes.
it has even the playing field for sure. It's
And I
amazing.
love that. I love that. I mean, when we talk about what limits us from producing our passion, like you got to really think about it because you have a phone, you're in, like you're in, it's right there. Yep. It's in your hands. It's in your power to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to get to the next segment here in a second, but before we do, let's talk about York Media. Is that the official name?
Yeah. York Media.
Tell me
Yes.
about that. How did that unfold?
So, producing the podcast, as we said, it does take a financial toll. My partner and I, we fund it. So in order to offset some of those costs, I started doing work on the side, and I said, okay, well, I can't do coming from a business background, right? I'm not like we had to set it up to where like we were doing it right. And that's another aspect of the podcast and just business in general. If you're going to be serious about your business, you have to set it up structurally correct. What that means is like you got to get that LLC, or even if you do a DBA, right? Doing business as, you have to set yourself up as a professional. And I think you do a magnificent job at this, Sam. I've been really impressed how you've worked through it. And I'm even like, oh my God, I got to step up my game. But really, York Media, we established that because we needed to do projects for other people where we could collect funds, right? And then be able to distribute that as needed, whether we needed equipment, or we needed to pay for studio time, whatever the need was, but we needed to start accumulating funds on that side to grow because the podcast, we always say it's the vehicle for the journey. But we're in a 10-year project. I always say I'm in year 2 of year 10, because there's a bigger thing that the end of the road, I guess, the big picture, is so much more than the podcast. So we established that and I started doing work for others. And it's been a great also learning experience because when you're doing a podcast, it's stationary, right? But when you're out doing video work, it's a moving thing. It's like moving parts. Like, you have to be able to think on your feet and work with light and then audio and, all these different aspects that come into creating a video for a client.
I totally agree. And they feed off each other, right? You doing your
Yes,
podcast enhances your media company. You doing the media company enhances the podcast. Those skill sets fuel off each other.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You remind me of one of my favorite quotes by Walt Disney, and it's, "We don't make movies to make money. We make money so we can make movies."
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
paraphrasing him, but it was something like that. It's like, hey, we just do projects so we're not doing them to make money, but we'll make money off them so we can keep doing more projects.
I absolutely love that. And I'm glad that you bring him up. So can you imagine this man coming to a group of his peers and saying, listen, I want to build this park where I'm going to do this, this, and this. And everybody's like, you're insane. Right? Can you imagine being that guy?
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, Disneyland, no biggie. But like when you're the first of your kind and you're an innovator, you're always going to be met with, that's bizarre. That's not how things work around here,
Mm.
And I've had my share of that. Even in like launching my podcast, you get a lot of unsolicited advice. And I take it with a grain of salt. At first, it was hard because, you're the newbie. You're like, you come into these rooms of people that have been doing it for a while and they're like, oh, well, you should be doing this or you should be distributing here or you should, and it's like, you got to acknowledge that you're on your own road because only you know the vision that's in your head. Right. And you have to stay true to yourself because you're going to I always say it's silencing the noise because you're going to have people yapping at you all day long and you just have to keep on going your path and don't let anybody detour you from what your path is meant to be. Because if you listen to them, you're going to take a path that they're like, oh, you should go down this road. I hear, they sell snacks and maybe you're not meant to have snacks right now. Maybe you're going to get a 5-course meal at the end of the road. And because you wanted some snacks, you ruined your whole experience. So that's like the one thing I'm always like, keep going, stick to your journey. This is meant for you. And you decide what's in your journey and, how to stay true to that.
That's not just a clip, folks. That's the intro right
Oh
there.
my God.
You're on fire. You're on fire right now.
Oh, you make it too easy.
No,
I feel so good talking to you.
You are so right. And if we could stick on this for a second, I talk about this in the Produce Your Passion book and conversations as well as it's very subtle sometimes. It's not like someone saying, oh, you should never do this. You should do that. It's like, yeah, that happens. But sometimes it's like exactly what you just said. Oh, you should consider doing this right here. And it kind of sounds good. Like, oh, I guess that makes sense. But it can lead you down a path that wasn't your intention at all. And it is an art and a balance. Constructive criticism is great. But there's a fine line between constructive criticism and, oh, that's just plain criticism.
Yes.
That's not helpful. That's not helpful for what we're doing. you know,
Right. Exactly.
especially especially, yeah, like when you do like podcasting and, oh, you need to have this type of guest on, or this is what you need to do with it, because everyone just sees what other people do. And it's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
your path is your path. You're supposed to do it the way you're supposed to do it,
Right.
So no, thank you for sharing that. So next part of the conversation, I like for us to speak to those that are listening to this, watching this. They're getting inspired by it. Like, man, I really love Sandy's story. I really want to start a podcast or whatever project it is for them, but they're not doing it for whatever reason. They're letting whatever obstacle hold them back. What advice do you have for those people that want to produce their passion but aren't doing so yet?
This is the magical question. You know what? I've thought about this because just talking with you, right? And exploring what produce your passion really means, and the weight of it, right? Um, I would say that turning back to mindset, right? Because when you are hesitant to take that initial start, is not that you don't have the resources you need, is that your mind hasn't expanded to possibilities. So how do you overcome the challenges that are preventing you from launching that project is really where I would start. And there's something that I've heard, and I wish I could give credit to where I've heard it, but it goes along the lines of, who would you be if you had no obstacles or limitations in your world? And how would you operate? So like I would start there. Like I would start, okay, well, I want to start a podcast. I know nothing about podcasting. I don't have resources. I don't know where to begin. Okay, well, if I did have resources and I did know the know-how, where would I go? Who would I talk to? And just start going there. And I always share when people ask me, like, I just don't know what to do. I think people are so bogged down by like these invisible chains, right? They're not real. They're not real. And the moment I realized this, was when I realized that I was dreaming in constraints. So, we all think about like, oh, if I had $1 million, I would do this, I would do that, I would do that. And I'm like, okay, plan it out. If you did have $1 million in your account, start planning like you had $1 million in your account. When would you book your flight? When would you leave? Where would you go? What would you pack? Who would you take with you? What would you want to see? And once you start your mind working, it starts expanding, right? It starts expanding. Okay, now you took that away. You don't have the $1 million. Is it still possible to do all the things that you want to do? Sometimes it is. You don't need $1 million. It's been in your reach the whole time. The difference is your mindset and the limitations that you carry for whatever reasons, right? We all have traumas. We all have people that have said, oh, you're not good enough. And then you carry that for years and years, and you come to find out, well, that has no merit, right? So I think that's the place that I operate from. But if someone had to start from scratch, that's where I would go. Your mindset.
Brilliantly said. And I agree. I think most people, if you were the ones, especially, oh, if I only had the money, it's like, if I gave you a check for $1 million, most people would have no idea what to do with it. It'd be way too,
Right.
even 100,000.
Yep.
It's like, what? And that would probably be, my bandwidth to a point. If you can give me $1 million, it's like, oh, wow, I've never really wrote it down, like you said, what I would do with this, what I would do with that. So I think that's very good. You make a very good point too about writing it out. And then you do realize like, oh, I can actually do this for less. I don't need as much as I thought I did, but you have to do that work of
Yes.
planning it out.
You said it. The magic is in the work. Absolutely.
Awesome.
That's a clip. That should be a clip.
Ah.
The magic is in the work.
Well, that was awesome. So now for the other camp of people that we would fall into, we do produce our passion. We do know the ups and the downs, the joys and the sorrows, if you will. I say that positively. What advice do you have for those people that are producing their passion, whether it's a podcast, working on a film, writing a book, whatever, but they're feeling stuck or they're feeling burnt out. We like to call it the muddle, stuck in the mud in the middle, and you don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel. What advice would you have for them to keep going?
This is a great question. And I would have to say is the people you are connected to, because the people you are connected to will either inspire you or demise your light. And I have learned this the hard way, not once, not twice, not 3 times. So now that is only the people I seek out. People like yourself, people that you walk into the room and you see their light. Yeah, we are connected. We are on the same, I always say we are on the same frequency. I look for frequencies in people, how you operate, how do you carry yourself? Are you talking about others? Like, that's not going to support your mission and vision in your life. So who you connect with, and when you connect to a certain level of people that are like in it, like us, that are doing the work, you can, it works 2 ways, because you feed off of your energy. And then once you share that light and that energy, you get re-energized to be able and go back into the ring, right? Because we are getting hit left and right. When we're in this thing called business and trying to create our passion, we're taking hits. Yeah, metaphorically, people don't see it. They're never going to see it, right? But just know that it does come with it. So when you're connected to people that can support you and elevate you in the good times, as long as the bad times, that's where the magic is. And that's what I would advise people to do. Seek out the people that are going to inspire you to go and hit new levels. Because if you are surrounding yourself with people that are not producing and not going in the ring like you are, they can't relate. They can't give you the advice you need to elevate yourself. So that's what I seek out. And as soon as you identify a person like that, you need to just hold on tight and make sure that you're returning that value, right? It's a two-way street. It's not one-sided. And for the one-sided people, I'm out. I am out. My cutoff game is so strong. I will be here and gone within seconds, because I just don't have time for that. You know, I have a family, I have a husband, I have kids, and they are my priority. And if I'm here with you, that means I'm not with them. So that means that we need to be doing something great together to justify for me not spending my time with them, right? That's always my North Star and keeps me straight.
Mic drop. Mic drop. No, that's a brilliant point. Really just setting those boundaries with people
yes.
too. And like, hey, if this boundary's crossed, I hope I never get on the cutoff list from you.
No, you are magical. Never. That's never going to happen.
But you bring up a great point, because in Produce Your Passion, we talk about finding your creative, passionate tribe.
Yes.
And that, you're right, that is the thing that will keep you afloat during the deepest and darkest times, because more than likely those people in that circle, hey, I went through that last week. Or I'm going through it right now. I'm okay. Here's what you need to do. No, you're exactly right. Having those people that really understand. If I have another question, if you don't mind, if you have a few minutes.
I have all the time,
okay.
Sam, for you.
You being in a banking background, and you touched on it earlier, it seems like when you going into this, you really are coming from a business approach.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about doing, because that's the thing a lot of us artists and things we struggle with a lot of times, is balancing business and art with things. Can you talk about your mindset going into your projects? Like, okay, I want to be business minded. I want to keep an eye on my finances, and it has to make sense, but I also want to do what I want to do artistic wise as well. Can you talk about your mindset balancing those?
Yes. So I actually have an accounting background. Accounting background, banking 20 years. So I think just because I've been in so long, it's second nature, but I also have a great support system, right? Um, but if I had to speak to somebody who doesn't have that, right? I think the most important thing is setting your processes that go along your business. Because if you have a creative venture, there's a business attached to it. So like, let's say you're an artist and you create paintings, or you're a musician and you create music. You have to, you're still responsible for learning the business side of that, because if not, you're going to be taken advantage of it. And another part of it is your customer interface, right? And that's how I think about it. And this is where I think you excel at. Your customer interface or your client interface is so great. And I'll break it down. So when we decided to do this podcast, um, you're so well spoken. You're so professional, right? You sent me a link. You set up expectations right away. You did follow up. That is all customer interface, right? And you have embedded that in your process. Cause I imagine I'm not that special. I'm not the only one. I mean, imagine that you do that with all your guests, right? So it ties back to that. If you're an artist and you love to create art and paint, well, okay, that's great. Be in it when you're creating and enjoy the process. But set time aside, like let's say 2 days out of your whatever days you work, you're going to focus on that business part. Like, how am I going to distribute my art? Who is my preferred client? What does that avatar look like? If someone reached out to me and wanted to learn about my prices, what does that look like on their end, right? Like, am I prepared for that? Really breaking down each of those aspects of your business, um, will help you take that weight off so you can create more. And setting processes, it's a 1-2 time ordeal. Once you have them established, they're there. There's just a recycle aspect to it. So you don't have to, can you imagine writing an email every time someone inquires about being a guest on your show? Like, that is just, right? Like, we don't do that. So make time for your business, set processes. The best advice I could give on this is like, go back to the first interaction you had from like when someone reached out to you to like the end of that conversation, like the steps, and then identify where you need to build out a process for responding to emails, for connecting with clients, for receiving payments, um, follow-ups, all that. And then that will really help you elevate to the next creativity level.
Well said. We have had no one break it
It's
down like you just.
long-winded.
No, it was perfect. It reminds me of one of my favorite sayings is how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yes.
And even from a podcasting standpoint or art standpoint, a lot of us aren't making money at the moment, or maybe we don't care if we make money, but I really like how you honed in on that customer interface. You still have to operate as a business, though, and be
Yes.
business professional, bringing podcast guests on, collaborating with other artists, being on time, working hard, how you communicate, all those things count.
Yes.
Regardless if you're exchanging money. It's like, because if you,
Right.
yeah, if you aren't bringing your best self to the table, people aren't going to want to work with that anyway.
No, and reputation is a real thing.
What do they say?
I,
Yeah, it takes a lifetime to build and like 5 minutes to
yes,
ruin.
it's so true. And I mean, I've had that experience too, where like I've worked with other creatives and I probably won't be working with them again. It does happen. And I think when you set yourself up that way and you're consistent, people know. And even if someone tries to say thing or paint you in a light that is not accurate, your consistency and how you operate will always come to light. It will always come to light, and then that will speak volumes to opposed to what people try to paint you as.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Sandy, this has been an incredible conversation. We're going to get where there's a little more to go, but I just want to, first of all, thank you for coming on to this program, but also thank you for coming to our Las Vegas event we had at the Indie Film Factory. That's where you and I met in person for the first time. It was like I already knew you.
Yes, I felt too.
Yeah, and thank you for having me on your show, the Power of Connection podcast. And thank you again for this book.
Yes.
Alex Hormozi's new $100 million money models. He's brilliant. So it helps because as artistic as we all like to be, this is a great book to like just get you more in business mode. Like, oh, how could I merge the two together? So thank you. I see those books up above you as well.
I do. I have the collection.
Yeah. So before we get to last word, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any future projects? Anything you have in the works?
Well, first, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being such an amazing partner throughout through our collaboration. I think you do an amazing job with everything you're doing out in this world. And I mean, you're a great collaborator. And I just hope that we get to work together on more projects because I just enjoy working with you so much. And I just think you're a kick-ass human, to be honest with you. And I want to be around people like yourself. As far as projects go, yes, I'm going to announce it here. It hasn't been officially announced anywhere else. So it's only right that we announce it here. I'm actually working on a project and it's called the Vegas Connection. I'm building an online community of business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. And it's really a space, that I want to build out where, yes, we can, connect online, but let's do it in a more thoughtful way. And the way I see it, because, when you see it in your mind and then you try to execute it, is really bringing people together that are about creating and then how we do business with each other. Because there's times where I need a plumber. There's times where I need an electrician. There's times where I want to know what restaurants are out there that I haven't visited, So creating a space where all of that can interface together is really the goal. But not only that, to tie it back to Alex Hormozi and the books he's created, it really talks about how we present our offers, right? And an offer, it sounds so strange, like, what's your offer? What's your offer? But it really means like, what are you presenting to the world that they can buy into, and it doesn't have to have a salesy connotation. It really has to do with like so for me, I love to give examples because it's easier for me to connect the dots. But like for me and the podcast, what is my offer? Well, my offer is to bring local Las Vegas community members together and be able to have long form conversations about the challenges they met so other people can use that and apply it and hopefully receive a better outcome, right? That's my offer. So when it comes to business owners, when it comes to like, for example, your production company, what if I need a production company? What if I need Sam to come out here and like, what are your services? Like I need to know. So if I ever need something, I need to call Sam because I know what his offers are, right? The same thing with like cookie shops and plumbers and electricians and lawyers. And like, we need to know who to reach out to when these real things happen in life that we need these services. So that is the goal. And that is what I'm going to be building. I'm slowly kicking it off. And let me say, you were the first person to come on board and you're like, I don't know what this is. I have no idea, but I'm going to go with you. And I appreciate you so much for that because you jumped in and you didn't even know what you were jumping into.
Instant follow. Didn't even think about it.
Yes.
Oh,
You're
wait.
like, yeah, let's go. Whatever.
Sandy's doing it. Boom. Follow. Yeah. Wow, I'm really excited for you for that. So where is there any? Well, so we'll get to. Is there somewhere people can go right now? Should they go right now to follow that project in
So
particular?
right now that project is by invitation only.
Okay.
So the first initial 100 members are going to get a lifetime access to the platform. It is going to be a monthly fee platform where people can join. Like the general public will eventually be able to join, but first I'm going to build it out to people that are in our business that, cause I'm building it from scratch. Like right now it's just a blank canvas and there's nothing, right? So it's by invitation only. I'm speaking to 100 business owners, creatives, and I'm only bringing the people that I trust and that I know I could vouch for myself personally 100% that they do good business. And then once we build it out together, there'll be a section where, like, for example, we'll have a section for podcasts, right? So like, what is Sam's podcast about? We'll have a section about production companies here in LA. We'll have a section of like restaurants. Every industry will have its own section. So then once they are able to connect with you and they realize that they want to do work with you, then you can take them to your individual platforms and then you can get connected on that form. But yeah, you'll be able to connect with other people and just collaborate even, which I think is really cool.
I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but it reminds me kind of like the Yellow Pages, like a phone book.
Yes,
Like
it's
a,
exactly that. It's the
yeah.
Yellow Pages for 2025 or 2026, I should say.
Well, what's great about that is because now it's a gift and the curse, everyone's online and anyone can put anything out, but anyone can put anything out. There's just so much noise. So this would
Yes.
be a great place to like, hey, you're not going to get any of the extra stuff you don't need to
Mm-mm.
see. And to another point is people don't know what you do unless you tell them.
Right.
If people don't know you do video production or you do podcast production, how are they going to know what to look for? So that's great that you're connecting people, and it's very synergistic how that relates to the Power of Connection podcast as well.
Yes. It's all connected and it comes back to video too, because I'm a big fan of audio. Like, don't get me not, my first love is audio. That's my go-to, right? But today you have to be on video, right? And that's where you really capture someone's personality. And after watching them for a while, people feel like they know you. You know, I get messages from strangers all the time that like I've never spoken to, and they're like, "Hey, Sandy," like blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, it's such a weird thing. Or there was this one instance where I was out in public, and it sounds so cringy, honestly. But I was out in public and someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, Sandy, like I'm so and so, I'm a connector just like you." And I was like, first of all, like I don't see myself in that light. And second, I don't know you, but that's interesting how people perceive you in a certain way and you've never met them, you've never talked to them. So I think video is a great way for your personality to get out. And if people like vibe with that, they're going to want to work with you, right? And that's what it's about, is like, how do we get people connected that need each other really? And then just making magic happen. I know it's such an idealistic mindset, and sometimes I call it one of my red flags, because I just see the world in butterflies and rainbows, and then I'm like, oh, reality sets in. But sometimes I prefer to be delusional than real life.
Hey, I think for what we do, you have to have that fine line between delusion while also recognizing reality. It's a very
Yes.
You got to have some of that delusion, but you can't have too much of it or you will fall off the cliff. And I've had moments where I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's the edge right there. Let's take a look at reality for a second." No, well put. And you have such a great energy, and you're so the fact that you are curious and interested in people. I just see what you're doing is going to continue to snowball and snowball, and I'm happy just to be a part of that ride. And I'm so
Well,
glad we
thank
connected.
you.
So
You're a big part of that. So I am excited for it because I think you and I could just collaborate on so many projects because we both see things very
mhm,
similar,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I am looking forward to the future.
Likewise. And Sandy, we'll get to last word here in a second. But for anyone that is wanting to work with you, look up what you do, the Power of Connection podcast, your personal brand, your media company, where are all the places people need to go to check out all your stuff?
So primarily right now, Instagram is the new thing, right? Like before it was the yellow pages. If you need anything, Instagram, that's my primary place. You could connect with the Power of Connection podcast there, and listen to the episodes. We're on Spotify, Buzzsprout, I believe Amazon Music. We're also, iHeartRadio. And then for me personally, you can connect with me at Sandy York LV on Instagram. If you have any questions, that's where you'll reach me. My media company is kind of a work in progress. I haven't spent so much time there because we're still building and growing. But yeah, just reach out to me on my personal handle and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Sounds great. Well, Sandy, this has been a great experience. This is our second venture together with many
Yes.
more to come. I really enjoyed this conversation. Some great clips are in here. And again, thank you for all your support, having me on your show. And I look forward to continuing this conversation.
Thank you for everything you do, Sam. You're a powerhouse, and I will continue to support you all the way to the moon.
And right back at you. Ping pong. Right
There
back
we
and
go.
forth. Any last words for us as we get out of here?
Any last words? I would say this. I would say you only have one life. Make it count.
Brilliant. Sandy, thank you so much. Hang around for just a second, but thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. To learn more, go to produceyourpassion.com.